everybody knows you've been the biggest fucking coos hound around the past 4 or 5 years. On everything
Coos hound.
On my children. There's nothing going on between me and Adriana.
Retaliation for him serving his now estranged wife.
Alright, dude, I've had enough of that. Why the Sega Dreamcast failed. Alright. Let's get her going, baby. Where was I? Shit. Oh, fuck it, let's go. Oh! Dude! God, I was about to say, damn, dude. You know, that pot looked a little too suspicious, you know what I mean? Alright. Oh my god, dude. Dude. Prone. God, Winnie, what's up? Yeah, I've heard yoga is really good for you. Feels so lustful. Wait, what? The hell are you talking about, Winnie? Oceanic spear, what? What is that? Oh, that just... I mean, that's just natural. What the hell is that down there? Dude, enough of the poison shit already. I think he felt the same, just like a normal kid. And I think he dealt with it like a normal human too, because that's, he talks about that later on, like having, you know, like having felt the sins of the flesh and all that, you know what I mean? Okay, I knocked him down right here. I ran over. Okay. Bro, dude is gonna run all the way back over here. Yeah, I know that, like, it talks about it a lot, how he was consumed a lot by the sins of the flesh and everything, so... And he spoke a lot of knowing of the trials and tribulations of man and everything, so, you know, I mean... I would imagine he probably dealt with it the same way that most humans did. I mean, like, he didn't start noticing something was out of the ordinary until his 20s or something, wasn't it? 20s or like his late 20s? Because he died when he was 33, so... Oh yeah, there's nothing else in this area. Come over here, dude. Shit. Ugh. Yeah, so I mean, up until that moment, I think he thought he was just like a regular guy, you know what I mean? You know what's crazy? And not even to get like all religious or anything, but there are people that deny he actually existed. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? There are Chinese philosophers that acknowledge his existence. You know, there are Indonesian people that say that they met him. You know, there are Eddas in Norse mythology where... In fact, one of the authors of one of the Eddas in the Norse book of Proverbs or whatever, the dude speaks of how he met Jesus. Shit. Homeboy's gonna run all the way over here. Here we go. Well, and it's so like even the Shroud of Turin, they to this day they cannot replicate how the Shroud of Turin was made. And even skeptics like Joe Rogan have admitted that. Like they have no idea. Well, I take that back. They can replicate the Shroud of Turin, but it requires a lot of blood and it requires a lot of nuclear activity. Is that him down there trying to hide from me? I don't know where this dude went. He lost more than that. He lost damn near all his blood because they fucking bled him out. So the messed up thing about crucifixions is that all of that, what you die from is actually suffocation, right? So when you're up there and you're hanging there, right, and they've got your feet nailed down and they've got your hands nailed up like this, what actually happens over time is, you know, it takes this muscle to breathe in, right? And if you notice, like if you go to a pull-up bar and you stretch your hands out like that and you pull down, you only take short breaths. You know what I mean? Real short breaths, because your lungs can't fully expand because you're being stretched out, right? So you're taking these short breaths, and what happens over time, you're hanging there, and from the weight of being hung plus lack of food and water and all that other stuff, eventually you just, you know, like when you get on a roller coaster and they slam the thing down on you and you can't fully expand your chest, so like you can't fully take in breaths. It's kind of the same thing, just the opposite way. You know what I mean? Like your lungs can't fully expand because they're being stretched downward. So you eventually just suffocate. And you suffocate slowly. You know, it's not like a quick suffocation where you die in a couple of minutes. You suffocate over a period of a couple days. And that's one of the reasons, I mean, not to mention it's extremely painful, yes, but also at the same time, it's just, it's like almost like reverse waterboarding, dude. It's gnarly. That's what I'm saying. So that's what happens is over time you just become so fatigued that your arms, you know, just go up like this and you're just you know what I mean? Ancient people were fucked, dude. You know what I mean? Like I can't even imagine. Like I try to put myself. I'll read stories about stuff like this and like what humans used to do to each other, and it's like people want to talk about how bad it is now, and you look back like 500 years ago, dude, when they used to like quarter people, And if you don't know what quartering is, it's where they would get 4 horses with 4 riders, and they would tie a horse to each extremity, and then they would have somebody just smack the asses of all the horses, so it just like ripped you apart, bro. And you're alive, dude. It's not like you die, right? You might go into shock, but you're alive for a good 3 or 4 minutes, dude, before you bleed out. You know, and then there's the spit. If you don't know what the spit is, it's where they would lay you down on a table, and they would tie your hands up, and they would tie your feet up, and they would stretch you out, and then they would cut your stomach open, and then they would pull out a piece of your intestine and attach it to like a rotisserie, and then they would just turn it. You know what I mean? Like that, dude, it was like, people think that like it's so bad now and shit's so horrible. And it's like, dude, be thankful that you weren't alive like 400 years ago, dude, when they were just straight up burning people at the stake. You know what I mean? Like that is wild. That they, like, people, a group of people could walk up and go, this person looks funny. I think they practice black magic. I think we need to sacrifice them. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you have 15 people around you snatching you up and tying you to a stake surrounded by wood, and then they just light it on fire, bro. Like, you're gonna feel that for a good 3 minutes, dude, before. And it's like, who thought of this twisted shit? Like, who thought of the brass bowl? The brass bowl is probably the only, like, when I read about it, I genuinely had a nightmare about it. And basically they have this big brass bowl, right? And they would drop people in it naked, and then they would start a fire underneath it, dude. And it would basically just like burn you alive. Like, how twisted is that, dude? You know, say whatever you want about today's societies, like our first and our second world societies. But dude, even first world societies 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 years ago were, dude, they were sadistic. Just and that is one thing that bugs me about organized religion, period, across the board. Whether it's Jewish people or Islamic people or Christians, or, you know what I mean? I felt like they were the ones practicing this shit the most. You know what I mean? Like the Barbary slave trades and the Crusades and all that other stuff. Like, they just did really wild things, man. And it makes you wonder, like, what was going through their head? You know what I mean? Well, that's what organized religion is. It's the people. It's not the religion, it's the people. And it's the people that misinterpret or they read too much into something, and, you know, they put their own spin on shit. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I don't support organized religion, is because of those things. It's because, like, there's too much up for interpretation. You know what I mean? And I feel like all religions say the same thing. Be a good person. You know, don't be an adulterer. Don't steal. Don't murder in cold blood. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't treat others how you want to be treated. You know what I mean? Karmic balance and all that other stuff. Like, as long as you're a good person and you're, like, you have good intentions, I think that's all that really matters in the end. But even like, you know, like the Aztecs and the Mayans, dude, didn't they play a sport where they would chop the heads off their enemies and then they would sew the neck shut, and they would play like a weird, like, water polo basketball soccer sport? Like, they had the sideways hoops up on the wall, and they would ride around on horses, and they would hit the head with like a croquet mallet. almost like it's like water polo, golf, soccer, basketball, and something else mixed into one sport. Or no, they you could only use your hips. That's what it was. You can only use your hips and your feet. It was like soccer and basketball mixed together. That's what it was. And dude, they would decapitate their enemies, and they would use their head like a ball, and you know, that was like a celebration sport. I mean, I don't think they were the most brutal, but they definitely had their, you know, like the Iron Maiden. Bro, the Iron Maiden was cruel. I don't know where to find the hammer at for this dude. I mean, even pirates, dude, like Pirates of the Caribbean pirates, bro, had some wild ass shit. You know what I mean? Like they would take somebody, right, and they would tie their hands above their head to a rope, right, and then they would throw the rope overboard, and then they would have somebody scoop the rope up on the other side, and then they would tie the person's feet to the other side of the rope, and then they would dunk you down, right, and then they would drag you across the bottom of the boat slowly. Right, so all the barnacles and like the pieces of timber would just like slice you apart, and then they would pull you up on the other side. And if you were still alive, they just kept doing it until you died, or you got eaten by sharks or whatever. But you know, they had all the bottom of the boat would be like lined with barnacles and like split timber, and like nails would be sticking out and stuff, and they just rake you across the bottom of the boat. And they say where most people died is when they hit the bottom part, is it would break their backs coming across it. It would break their neck and their back. As they went down the side of the boat, as soon as they hit the very bottom where it came to a point like that, as they went around it, it just totally snapped the spine all the way around. And they say that's where like 90% of the people died through that method. But dude, like, who sits there and thinks of shit like that? What? Oh, he's just gonna keep grabbing me, huh? That is fucking wild, dude. It's fucking pointless summoning those dudes in. They don't do shit. They really don't. What? Dead. Oh my god, dude. Just spam it until you get it, dude. Yep. Dude, what the fuck? Alright, you sack of fucking dog shit. Dude! Dude, what the fuck, man? Oh my god, dude. Oh, dude. Of course. Oh my god, dude. Fucking son of a bitch, dude. Dude! Dude, I'm dead. Dude, I fucking dodged that. Sit down. Oh.
火山様、本当に火山様ですか?
Damn gorilla.
本当に火山様だったのですね。監視の連中は私をだから私は一緒にいた。火山様がユリアン兄さんを救出された後の火山様。
Whoa.
火山様、収容所に残るアドリックが道を案内してくれる。処刑が始まってしまいます。オズマ様このままだから危うく。オズマ様とこのままだから危うく死ぬところ。
ユリアンさん、アルデビール。
おお、新しい制作レシピ。
I like that. I'm also going to keep one of those too. I'll keep both of those. And I'll keep that. These I can all get rid of. Oh, no, not that. Okay, so what are we looking at over here? 416, 317, 159, 162. But I'm at level 91. What is this? 369. 443. Keep that. I mean, all this shit is stronger. Crimson Fiend pants. Ooh, I like them. Slayer's Gators. All right.
怒り
All I think this is it. Okay. My neck is killing me, dude. Let's go over here.
今は奇跡を解放するための力が十分ではないようです。
40,
もっと多く
50,
の奇跡を見つけ
40.
てください。
Okay, so I need 16 more for that. Okay, there we go. I need to head to bed, dude. I'm freaking tired. Starting to like drift off. Dude, this game is just like it just keeps going and
助け
going.
に私たち
火山様捜索
Okay, I need like 40,000 more to level up. All right, and this is where we end it, you guys. Okay, we have this. April 9th. Fix an issue where players could receive Khazan memories vengeance points in a row each time they completed the bonus mission. Phantom of Combat. Fix an issue where canceling an interaction while talking to cause the interaction and escape keys to stop working in certain situations. Fix an issue or defeating a monster in a mission without meeting Dafrona's Codex requirements. Again, after meeting them would not count toward Codex completion. Fix an issue where projectile skill effects were not visible for some boss monsters. Fix an issue where the Master of Chaos Scroll would not be granted after defeating Ozma on the true ending route. After this patch, players who defeated Ozma on the true receive their Master of Chaos Scroll. This item will be delivered without a separate notice and will appear as a new item. Fix an issue where temporary memory spikes could cause the game to crash when the player opened the inventory. If you experience crashes while playing, you can cover your save data using the following method, blah blah blah. Dude, they're on it. They're on it. Like, I gotta give it. Like, they're... Bro, they are on that shit. Like, I give them credit. Huh, maybe. Either way. Alright, you guys, I'm out of here. I have to take my boys to class tomorrow, so I won't be able to stream as much. What the hell? Alright, you guys. Let's check Adamfall. Let's see how hard it is. Alright, you guys have a great night. I've got the video finished for the collector's edition of Warhammer, so I'll have that uploaded tomorrow, and then we'll do the Castlevania, and then we'll do the Resident Evil, and then the other Resident